Okay, today's topic is hybrid work and the importance of privacy and device security. What we've seen is this shift, this complete transformation in how most of us work, with initially working from home. Now companies are moving to this hybrid work model, which brings huge benefits in terms of flexibility to organizations, but it comes with a downside that it has also created significant security risks. And as companies now adjust to this new world and implement new standards to allow people to work from home, it is now the perfect time to talk about device security and the fact that we can't have privacy without strong security. And to help me untangle this topic, I've partnered with Samsung, and I'm now joined by Parashuram Chawan, who is the Senior Technology Manager of Mobile Security for Samsung in the UK. You've worked for Samsung now for over 20 years. Nice to have you with us.
Thank you, Bernard, for this opportunity, and I'm happy to speak to you. And myself, Parashuram Chawan. You can call me Ram.
Thank you.
I'm a senior technology manager here at Samsung R&D UK, based in Staines upon Thames, and yeah, I'm enjoying here for over the 20 years I have been working with Samsung. Yes, so currently I'm leading a mobile security R&D team here, mainly supporting the Samsung enterprise business. And my day goes, every day goes with at least once saying Knox, for example. So the Knox is so important as a everyday aspect here, what I do and what my team does.
Very good. So what is your background? How did you end up working in the job you have today?
All right. So I think in some sense I was, as I said, like I've been working with the Samsung for a long time. And fortunately, I happened to be in a right career path, in the sense that I started initially my career as a communication software engineer, working on exchanges, telecommunication exchanges, as a core telecommunication engineer. And pretty soon after that, my career begins with the mobile, and as I started my first project with the mobiles, developing radio stack for Samsung, almost 19 years ago. So that's where I happened to be fortunate enough to be leading this path early on, working with Samsung. And over the year, I just explored my career itself within the mobile domain, following radio stack, and then I moved on to the platform, and then I moved on to developing some convergence solutions, and then eventually B2B as a part of my career. And this is where I am now, nearly a decade working on a security aspect, from pretty much working on Knox and Samsung enterprise technical area. So yeah, so here mainly I'm responsible for security and certification for Galaxy devices around the world. And also my team, along with myself, we also contribute to some of the security aspects like vulnerability analysis and all that. So yeah, that has been my working experience with Samsung, and it's mostly Samsung anyway. I've been working with such a long time here. Yeah.
Very good. And today's focus is exactly this: is the enterprise, is businesses and what it means for them in terms of security and privacy, but also what it means for us individually. And I guess we've seen this massive transformation in the way we work. Most organizations pivoted really successfully to a working from home model during COVID. What were your personal experiences in terms of making working from home work when you work for Samsung?
Yeah, I mean, this is something like we didn't, we never expected. At least my lifetime, I never expected this sort of a thing. It was such a sudden shock in some sense. Uh, on the other hand, of course, we all have experienced all these certain aspect of the COVID, working remotely now suddenly. I mean, I've been pretty much working from office prior to the COVID, but then it was a sudden change, a way of adapting to the new style of working remotely, and specifically speaks to a lot of different challenges as well. How effectively we can do this task, right? So yeah, there is a part of experiences like which facing new stuff, new challenges as a whole, working away from the home office. But on the other hand, as a professionally, as a my area as well, from the mobility perspective as well, is the whole issue we faced with respect to like how effectively from a security point of view or from a productivity point of view we can fulfill this role. So yeah, this was something new for me as well, like everyone experienced. But on a non-technical aspect, yes, there are some both positive and negative, in the sense that we do benefit working away from home, but also there are some negatives as well. Of course, there are plus and minuses. In sometimes we can think of like this is created a way for a perfect work-life balance, but also there are some other aspects as well. But from the technical perspective, technology is concerned, mobility strategy is concerned. Anyway, companies like Samsung, we had been in this area for a while, right? Working on a mobility strategy, how someone can work remotely, etc. But then I hope this will not happen again, like situation like COVID. But then this was created something very test bed for us, like to how we can use our technology and our what we have to make this happen and help everyone. And so you've seen suddenly there is a surge of devices and laptops, and we all rush to buy the laptop, not only just for us but also our kids working away from school. And so obviously I have seen those challenges. But from a IT perspective, it is mostly the security challenge is the biggest one, in terms of like because the environment changes from office to the work, and so the security challenges are, and like along with like a VPN licensing and video calls and all that aspect. But overall, yes, this has created we faced a set of challenges around that. But then Samsung, as you know, I mean, we had been very busy at that time, not only from providing security solutions as our Knox devices, but also as the ecosystem goes with that as well, from the device perspective, a range of devices, but also from a solutions perspective as well. And of course, the core is security, and at the same time, how we can improve the productivity as well.
So what do you see as the main security challenges that we need to address now? Because I think most organizations are now hoping for some kind of hybrid model. I think everyone is still figuring out exactly how they will work in the future. But one thing is for sure, there's more people will be working remotely. They will work from anywhere. We'll have more of our own devices. So what does that mean in terms of challenges?
Yes, challenges is I mean in quite a number of ways. So we have been addressing that. Of course, it's all revolves around security, how we can really secure, and also the challenges is like how as an individuals they can perform their duties, work perspective, but also at the same time how they can fill their other part, like a private perspective, like their privacy as well, like the things they do beyond the work. So from Samsung point of view, pretty much like over a decade, right, as a beginning of the Android. something we introduced with the term called a Knox. Okay, so Knox is basically started as a container solution. What does that mean? Was that the initial fundamental aspect was that how we can secure apps um, uh, between this personal world and non-work world. Okay, so very beginning, in early days of the Android itself, we worked, and Knox evolved as a container solution to begin with, and also as part of that, as a security was the key important aspect. So we introduced, or we leveraged technology like SC Linux to provide a better security for that sort of requirement. And then eventually, as a Knox, we then it turned from a container solution to become a platform solution, in the sense that it's now, Knox is now, as on today, it's a brand for us for a secure mobile platform. Yeah.
Very good. I'd like to go into a bit more detail to understand what this new Knox platform means. But before we do this, let's take a step back and explore. There's obviously the technical element of making sure that the security challenges are addressed. But what can we do as society? How can we all help to address some of the security challenges that come with this hybrid work model?
So obviously, as soon as we started working remotely, then the responsibility not only shifts from the corporate to for individuals as well, in the sense that how they manage their devices, how they keep it up to date, how they keep it secure, what to do and what not to do. And a lot of guidelines revolve around those aspects as well. So there is a role to play as an individual for myself to look after what I'm working on, the company data, corporate data, as well as things to how to use my mobile such a way that it doesn't affect overall security of this product. This is something as an individual has to take care of, right? But on the other hand, the foundation has to be secure, but it has to be built such a way that security is the first thought in place. The way it is designed, the way it is secured, and the way is like as a platform, and that is what we have today as a Knox. Okay, so the Knox is what I can say. I mean, you may remember that a decade ago, 10, 15 years ago, mobile means for us buying once, using it for a call, and then getting rid of it after using it for 5, 10 years. Okay, that was the case. But today it is not like that, because most of our life revolves around mobile, and we use it whole day for various purposes, work and personal aspect. So it's not only that its life cycle begins from when we buy the phone, but also throughout how we maintain it as well, right? So there is as a society, but also as a manufacturer of these devices, we have a shared responsibility as well. From manufacturing perspective, we built it right, we built it secure, we maintain it secure, and we maintain that it's secure throughout its cycle as well. And that, so it is that sort of a challenge we face today, right? So that's why we here in Samsung, we built this device ground up to secure it using various assets we have from the hardware perspective, software perspective, and ecosystem, but also maintaining it by providing a timely software updates, at least monthly, so that we can keep it secure minimum 4 years for the devices what we sell today. So yeah, there are two different aspects of it, and yeah, that's how we are contributing today.
Good. So Samsung believes that workers and IT managers should have peace of mind that your phone's most confidential information is actually kept safe. So how does Samsung provide that level of security? And maybe you can explain in a bit more detail what Samsung Knox actually is.
Fantastic. So, what is, I mean, on a mobile device, what we're trying to do is we protect the user data. That's all, as a one thing, right? And for that, security is the foundation of that. And then next level is that, I mean, at the same, in parallel is the privacy as well. We can talk both in parallel. But now, what we do as a Knox to secure user data. So I'm pretty much talking about our Android phones here. What we use, what I use and what I deal with on a daily basis. So now, data. How do we? I mean, Android is basically a device hardware with the software running on top, right from drivers and kernel and framework and applications, right? So to be able to secure this, the architecture has to be sound from the ground up, right from the hardware. Okay, it means hardware has to be secure, and it should protect the software running within it. And there should be, because we know, one layer of a defense is not enough. It has to be ground up, and it has to every stage. When certain piece of a code is running, it has to be made sure that it is authentic, but also it has to be ensured that it is maintained authentic while it is running as well. So what we do what brings Samsung Knox brings is that this whole suite of a software, right from the driver all the way up to kernel software, platform, and applications, is secure. So secured by the hardware to make sure that whatever it is running is authentic, as a first thing. And then continuously maintaining that also, just maintaining the trust, using our own patented solution like a kernel runtime protection, etc., which makes sure that this state is maintained, right? So that we have that, and finally to prove that trust to some services which is running remotely, to make sure that this device is running a right authentic software. So we something called attestation. So all these three things together provides a perfect environment for application to secure the applications. Of course, this never stops, but then that is where Samsung role comes in, to keep it enhancing the security and keep addressing this challenge. So just to give an idea, initially as a unit, you have a software, and to protect that software, then you start leveraging the hardware and you start doing different stuff. So something like, for example, initially we start protecting the data on the device using our hardware. When we say hardware, it's like within the SOC, you have multiple processing units there, secure processor. So early on, we started protecting the user data, whatever is data stored on the flash, securing that data using secure processing hardware and unique keys which are grooved into the hardware. So even that means that the whole keys which is used for encrypting the user data is secured using a separate hardware which is running separately as compared to the Android world itself. So that has been the initial piece of initial enhancement or improvement what we done. But then we expanded that idea to protect more and more user data, make more and more sensitive data. For example, user biometric data, password, etc., using the new solution what we introduced called Samsung Knox Vault. So Vault is basically, again, leverages a similar secure processor, secure memory to protect these user-sensitive data. And also, it provides more assurance from the perspective of security, in the sense protecting from even a hardware-based attack as well. So it is it is certified to be a EL5 plus level, common criteria. And so to ensure that it can sustain that level of an attack. So Knox Vault is the recent addition to what we are doing, but then life doesn't stop there. And we're trying to leverage these secure processors to enable new services and features like, for example, mobile payment or EID solutions using those secure processors what we have in our devices these days. So this is the journey to explain in a high level nutshell what we're trying to do here.
Very good. And if a user or a business wanted to apply the Samsung Knox framework, do they need to do anything? How does it work in practice?
That's the beauty of it. It is there. It's not that something like the software or a license you have to buy. When we say Knox, as on today, it is there right the moment you switch on. I mean, there is before thought is that it's all built securely using all our ecosystem, but then as soon as you switch on, the Knox is there and working, whether it is a consumer device or an enterprise device, whatever it is. And what we're talking here is like, we are not creating any bespoke devices for some special case or a special use case or anything. It's all commercial off-the-shelf product. That's what we are using today. And the beauty of it is that this product can be used, therefore, these mobiles can be used for an n number of use cases. And that is what Samsung ecosystem is providing with respect to various SDKs and services. And so to answer your question, it is there right from the boot, and Knox is working and protecting and maintaining that defense. Of course, beyond as a consumer use, as for example, as an enterprise, we also offer various SDK to, for example, for a mobility management, or to make whole process for example, for an enterprise, the whole process seamless, right from deploying your phone as a mass enrollment, like using a Knox enrollment solution, and then to configure it in certain use cases the way you want, like kiosking, etc. Then we have a Knox configure, and then maintaining it, like to be able to manage your software on the device with handling the software updates. So FOTA solution. So all, like every step of the science, build, run, maintain as the complete solution, what Knox is trying to address today, so that whole life cycle of the device and service is maintained securely. So that's what, those are the things what we are offering today.
So what devices is this available on?
The Knox is available on pretty much most of the devices what we sell today. So you can you visit samsungknox.com and you can see we list all the Knox versions, we list the devices, most of the devices, and also high-end mid-range devices. We certify these devices as well globally. And that is what you see when you see Knox, search for a Knox certification. You hit the samsungknox.com certification page where we certify our devices more than 10, 12 countries. So it's widely certified. It's not just we are saying it's secure, but then it is also evaluated by various security agencies and proven to be secure for that reason.
Very good. What would you say are the main benefits then? You said that there are lots of different use cases. What are your favorite use cases or your favorite benefits of having Knox in the background, keeping everything safe and secure?
Okay. So, I mean, security is important today, not necessarily for enterprise, but also the consumers, both, right? Quickly looking at what does that mean for the consumers today, Knox is there on the device, running, protecting, okay? Beyond that, we offer other solutions also for the consumers, like, for example, something we call it a secure folder. The consumers can use this secure folder to secure their important apps, which they feel sensitive. For example, they want to use a mobile payment app, then they can secure using that, okay? The other aspect of what Samsung does is, for example, helping with the privacy as well. For example, as an user, there is a dashboard on the privacy dashboard on the device I can use that to make sure that what apps are using my data and how they are using, and I can control them, what they can use, etc. Okay, second thing. And there's a third thing as a whole. Samsung, when particularly as a consumer, I'm using Samsung device with some Samsung applications, Samsung also has a very clear policy when it comes to the handling of my data, for example. Okay, this is in the consumer space. In an enterprise space, my role here is pretty much I work as a enabler for selling these devices to security sensitive customers like government and healthcare and finance, etc. That's what I do. So myself and my team works we cover entire globe, certifying these devices so that it is suitable. It fits for their purpose. So it's been used in various government departments, right, from USA all the way up to Australia. So those number of use cases. So it used in governments, used in, for example, healthcare. It is used in train companies, transportation, and various use cases. And that is what makes it, in some sense, it's a challenging, but also we are very happy that the Knox as a whole, as a whole ecosystem, it is giving our customers, consumer, enterprise customers, to use the way it is fit for their purpose, for their use cases. And so that's why we have the EMM package, Enterprise Mobility Knox Manage, and it allows them to deploy it in the way it is desired for them. So that's the beauty of the cost commercial of the shelf COTS product, that same device, they can use it for multiple purpose. And so that's what we are doing all along.
Very good. Thank you, Ram. If I would ask you about your future hopes when it comes to security and privacy, what would they be?
I mean, as I can see, I mean, I've been working in security for a while, and we all know what challenges we face today, and also in some sense what it is evolving to be a future. It's all around data intelligence, right? What I can see, what I can sense, and we are putting a lot of effort also on that area, like mainly the artificial intelligence, data intelligence, and how we can make a whole this experience is better from the productivity perspective, also from cost saving perspective as well, and also from purely security perspective, how we can detect and avoid as well in advance as well from threat perspective. So we do have those challenges. So it's all like near future is this is the focus, wherein how we can detect using artificial intelligence, or also support those new use cases of AI brings in on these devices, because of course new use cases, new challenges, and so it becomes our responsibility to see how we can solve and address those. For example, something like we have a solution called Knox Asset Intelligence. This is something we are today providing as part of gathering the data and to be able to manage their solutions productively today. But then in future, it will be something like a sense and detect and avoid, that sort of a strategy. So yeah, so it is more of a like how we can improve overall experience for the customers, and also from experience, also from productivity, and also keep them secure, and at the same time support this new use cases, what this emerging area like AI, data intelligence, blockchain, metaverse, and whatnot will bring onto the devices.
Perfect. That's a very nice way to end this conversation. Lots of things happening in terms of technology, evolutions around AI, metaverse, and obviously with all of this come new challenges, and there will be new evolution of the Samsung Knox system to make sure it caters for all of those new use cases. Thank you so much, Ram. That was fascinating. Anyone who ever wants to re-listen to this conversation, head to my YouTube channel, or head to my YouTube channel for many more conversations around the future of technology and the future of business. Thank you very much. And thank you, Ram.
Thank you, Bernard, and thanks for having me.
Such a pleasure. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.